Number one, I think that we've identified the barriers are the weight. People don't like to wait, especially with cats and small dogs. So I would like to see multiple entrances, literally that almost just that went in straight into your exam room or a very small area before, so there's no wasted space. Just goes, basically you come into room number 2 and you enter there from the outside. I think that would be remarkable. Number 2, I would pretty much do away with the traditional exam room table. The problem with our current exam room tables is they were designed with one thing in mind. That is the ease and convenience of the veterinarian and staff. Right. And we didn't even look at what the pet needs. So I think you would see a very different exam room table, and in many exam rooms you'd have nothing. In my first hospital I built, we had a large dog exam room, and we just said, we don't want an exam room table. Why would we have this in the large dog? We just don't need it, and we didn't use it. So that was just open space, and I think you'll see people migrate more towards that. Yeah. I think that we need to do better with air exchange. In my hospital, I spent a tremendous amount of money in both clinics with air exchange rates, and we tried to isolate them out, but I would go a step further and say each exam room has its own exchange, its own duct system, so that you're not transferring smells any more than you have to. I know this would be more expensive, but the reality is I want to try to make each one a self-contained unit. The other part of this, of course, would be that I believe we're going to see more and more specialization. I think that I'm going to have technicians that pretty much specialize in feline handling, restraint, and diagnosis, all those types of things. I think we're going to see veterinarians that continue to specialize on those needs. I think that we're going to see, in my perfect world, much less invasive diagnostic procedures. We are only a few years away from being able to do a cheek swab and a hair sample to get DNA analyses for many, many diseases. I mean, I'm just so excited about the future, because I think you're going to come into a cat and you're basically going to clip some hair and maybe take a little gentle swab from their buccal cavity, and you're going to get all the answers you need. And that really excites me, because we know that cats absolutely hate it when you stick them with the needle. I think also when it comes to vaccines, that I want to see alternative delivery methods, whether those are oral or some other type of device. I mean, I think there's a lot of exciting stuff that's coming. But what if you had it? What if you could deliver it in a food type of device? So if you gave them a tasty treat that would impart all the immunity. So all these things aren't really pie in the sky. I think they're really in the next 5 years. But it's going to require two things. Number one, until the revenues are there, companies won't take this issue seriously, because cats currently account for about 1/3 or less of total revenue spent in the veterinary industry. So people are like, why would I go and do all this R&D, spend millions of dollars when my return is pretty minimal? Dogs are where it's at. Let's continue to develop that market. So we as a profession have to show them, no, we are capable of getting these cats back in for visits so that it would be meaningful for you to do this. Second thing is we've got to, again, become more relevant in the conversation around cats. As you know, I've been very outspoken about, how we've lost behavior to every dog whisperer that shows up in any town with no credentials. Well, I'm starting to see slippage on the cat side. People are addressing these needs of cats that are not credentialed veterinarians, and they're starting to provide services that quite frankly, I don't like. But getting back to that ideal visit, for cats, it's a long visit. I imagine a time when what if I could spend 45 minutes to an hour with a cat? I would accomplish more, the cat would be more comfortable, and the client would leave more satisfied. And of course, we have to make sure that we're compensated for that, but I want to see a longer, slower, softer, smoother examination, and of course, that takes more time. And then finally, I think for kitty cats in particular, I really, really, really want better, this is going to sound a little out there, but we need better litter boxes. We need better ways for cats to eliminate waste in the home, because if we look at the number one reason why cats are relinquished to shelters, it is because of inappropriate elimination. So, as a practicing veterinarian, I'll tell you right now, the first thing I do when they complain about this, once we've ruled out medical problems, is I say, get a bigger open litter box. So I think there's still a lot of white space out there with litter boxes. In fact, a few years ago, I was talking with a friend of mine who is an engineer, and he's in a high-tech area, and I said, what I'm looking for this challenge that I need a better litter box for cats. And, we started really, over the course of a 6-month period, we were kind of doing some emails. And I think there's some very innovative, creative ways. And I'm just, again, every time I try to talk about this, I'm hoping out there listening right now, there's somebody with a connection at MIT or Stanford, right, and they've got a brother or a cousin, and they're like, yeah, I'm looking for something to do. Because, think about it. If you change that, how transformative that would be for kitty cats.